The mental body. In his great work entitled Critique of Pure Reasoning, Immanuel Kant, the great German philosopher, demonstrated the possibility of a transcendental logic. The mental body. The mental body. In his great work entitled Critique of Pure Reasoning, Immanuel Kant, the great German philosopher, demonstrated the possibility of a transcendental logic. The formula of a transcendental superior logic, that in itself has the power of opening the doors of mystery, were delivered unto humanity written within the Hindustani sacred scriptures many centuries before Bacon and Aristotle. Esoteric philosophy never believed in the infallibility and totalitarian omnipotence of Aristotle's logic. It is necessary to comprehend, it is urgent to know that superior logic exists before the deductive and inductive methods were formulated. Transcendental logic is the logic of intuition, the logic of the infinite, and the logic of ecstasy. Every esoteric investigator can find superior logic in the works of Plotino, in that precious study which deals with intelligible beauty. Peter Ouspensky stated, "I have called theoretium organum onto this system of superior logic, because for us, after the canons of Bacon and Aristotle, it is the third canon of, or third instrument of thought. The first was the organon, and the second the novum organum. However, before the first canon, the third already existed. It is clearly comprehensible that a human being who has this clue of the mind in his power can and must open without any fear the marvelous door of the world of cosmic causations. Through many years of observation and experience, we have witnessed that authentic ecstasy is processed within mathematical laws and logic. Firstly, let us remember the unity of the mystical experience, which is a very appropriate name. During the state of sacred rapture, all mystics concretely feel something in common, a similar sense and an unmistakable tie of identical character. Secondly, let us consider the very interesting case of mystic languages. By means of a judicious comparative study of religions, we have verified that mystics from different epochs speak the same esoteric language and use the same words. Without a doubt, this demonstrates to us the tremendous reality of mystical experiences. Thirdly, let us mention the astonishing concordance of the data that, in a very intimate way, connects mystical experiences with the intrinsic conditions of the world. From such conditions, we can correctly identify the following: sensation of the unity of the whole, time, a very particular new sensation, the sensation of infinitude, pleasure or horror, the integral knowledge of the whole in one part, and finally the unforgettable experience of infinite life and infinite consciousness. The gravest of all of this is that these know-it-alls of reactionary logic not only ignore all of this, but moreover they ignore what they ignore. Or they ignore that they ignore. To qualify the data of mystical experiences is illogical indeed. And it is the breaking point of ignorance. The pure esotericism is based upon the mystical experience, and the latter is submitted to mathematics of transfinite numbers and to the unmistakable laws of superior logic. We studied the astral body in the former chapter. The complete manifestation of our superior emotional center takes place through the astral body. In this chapter, it is necessary to comprehend what the mental body is, what the mind is, what superior logic is. The complete development of our superior mental center can be achieved only through a legitimately solar type of mental body. Ordinary people only have lunar mental bodies, such as such a protoplasmic body is of an animal nature. The inferior manas, or concrete mind, about which Theosophy speaks so abundantly about, is only the lunar mind. The fact that the intellectual animal has an animal mind is not a marvel, since the irrational beasts also have it. What happened is that the latter never gave an intellectual form to their minds. That is the only difference. If we truly want to think with a Christ mind, with superior logic, with the intelligence of a Gnostic Arahant, it is indispensable to build the mental body. By restraining the sexual impulse, in order to avoid the ejaculation of semen or the orgasm, the sexual hydrogen T12 receives a second special shock, which in fact passes into the third superior octave, which is then processed according to the 7 notes of the musical scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. The crystallization of the sexual hydrogen T12 in the splendid form of the solar mental body is performed in accordance with the wise law of musical octaves. It is impossible to build the solar mental body without the 7 notes of the third scale. The yogi who has never practiced Maituna can convert himself into a true athlete of mental concentration. Nevertheless, he will never build the solar mental body with pranayama or mental exercises, because this has been and always shall be a 100% sexual problem. The authentic and legitimate solar mental body is a body of paradise, a body of happiness filled with incalculable perfections. People who suppose that the mental body is a vague, vaporous, and fluidic body are lamentably mistaken. The solar mental body is also an organism of bones and flesh, the flesh of paradise. It is flesh that does not come from Adam. The solar body is born from the sexual act without the ejaculation of the nth seminis, without the orgasm, and it also needs nourishment and development. The mental body is nourished with hydrogen 12. The solar mental body has 300,000 clans, or magnetic centers, and all of them must vibrate within the same tone, and without even a hint of arrhythmia. Those initiates who possess solar mental bodies, always think with superior logic, with transcendental logic. By taking the axioms of Aristo Tai as a model, we can intelligently express the principal axiom of superior logic in the following way. A is as much A as it is not A. Everything is as much A as it is not A. Everything is everything. In other words, the logical formula A is as much A as it is not A corresponds to the formula of transfinite mathematics that states a magnitude can be bigger or smaller than itself. After reading the above lines, intellectual scoundrels who are bottled up within the formal logic will qualify these formulae with despise and will state that these are illogical and absurd. People with lunar minds are incapable of comprehending the superior logic of solar men. Now, beloved reader, you will comprehend the motive of why intellectual scoundrels become true asses when they try to interpret ancient thoughts or theogonies. The lunar mind is a true ass upon which we have to ride. If what we truly want is to victoriously enter into the heaven of Jerusalem on Palm Sunday,